Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Justice Williams, and today I will be discussing with you the mental health persuasive presentation. So, I feel like I should hit you with some informational facts. You all might not know this, but mental health, in regards to mental examinations and everything like that, less than a third of the people that suffer from mental illnesses or mental disabilities get the help that they need. First and foremost, they don't get the coverage or they don't get the understanding or the knowledge that they are suffering from something and just proceed to go through a day-to-day basis. Now, a lot of this is due to the stigmatism that affects everyday Americans and people that live in this country. However, that's not how it probably should be going forward. Going forward, it should be more better and more freeing. What we have to deal with right now is the idea that individuals who suffer from mental illnesses don't get the help that they need and are left out, and mental health in general is just left out of public health and everything like that. Work, it allows for people to take time off for, I don't know, if you break your leg or if you're really really sick, like with the flu or something like that, you get days off allotted for that kind of thing. But mental health days, few and far between. Only recently has it been touched upon in school districts now for elementary schools, like people having the possibility of having sick days off, students having sick days off for something going on with their head. So that is very important. The views on mental health have been very mentally, and with the things with the mind haven't been explored all too much, but the ideas of psychology and the things that work have been talked about for years and years and years and years and years. Psychology dates back centuries, but the idea of finally discussing and seeing things that affect the mind and how people's personalities are affected, and things like depression and anxiety, stress, things like that have only been prevalently discussed and examined for less than 100 years, less than a century. The prevalence of mental illnesses and mental issues has been, at this point in society, we are at a point where, like, at least 26% of individuals who have a disability of some sort with mental illnesses are, let me backtrack, individuals who suffer from some sort of mental problem, at least 26% of the United States of America. And like I said, less than a third of that actually gets treatment and is actually examined upon for that. And there's millions of people that live in this country. And despite a clear need for services, most people don't get the help they need. A lot of this is due to the fact that a lot of people don't know how and don't know where to go. Like I said, you go to a general health practitioner, pediatrician, and all that sort of stuff. They can kind of sort of help you, in certain situations. They can point you in the right direction, but for the most part, people don't generally know where to go because there's not hubs designed to deal with that sort of thing. Not centralized hubs. Everyone knows go when an emergency happens and someone gets sick or someone falls down and you gotta call an ambulance, and the 911 knows where to take people. But if you have an anxiety attack, some people don't necessarily know exactly where to do or where to take you. And that's the thing, or where to go themselves. So those need to become more prevalent. There are youth centers for children because children suffer from these things too. A lot of this stuff is based on stuff that happens for individuals as young children or in adolescence or going into early adulthood. We've been seeing things with a lot of issues that if they don't start at childbirth, are noticeable at least at the age of 3 or 4, when individuals start processing language and interacting with the world on a grander stage, and their mind gets more and more complex. I believe that the World Health Organization and the Mental Health International Organization, they've been discussing this in colleges because college students suffer from these things in a great abundance because it's a whole new phase for students, but they haven't quite, the system is not set up to allow for them to, mess up or have days where they get sick. It's one thing when you're just like a physical thing, then you have forms for that. You can sign documents for that, for if you grow ill during a class or a death or something like that. But if you have a mental issue, they kind of just like, yeah, it's on you. And there's no way to necessarily help you with that. There's health centers and there's people to talk to and counseling centers, and that's wonderful, but the system itself is not designed in a way to treat mental illnesses and mental problems like they're an actual thing, much like physical injuries. So today, why is this so important to me? It's because I have suffered with these kind of things in my life before. Anxiety and stress and depression to a great deal. And it took me a long, long while to figure out that I needed to get help. Longer than it should have. And when people wait longer than it should have, accidents can happen and things can go wrong. And nobody needs to let something with a, if your leg is broken, you don't let that just sit. You try to get it treated as early as you can. If you get an infection, you try to treat it as early as you can. But with mental health, some people don't see it that way, but it should be that way, because this is the mind, and that's one of the most powerful things about the body. It's the thing that separates us from other animals is our mind. So, in short, mental health is not seen as an important issue, but it should be. There should be more centers and things set up in this country for, and not just this country, in the world, for mental health and mental health awareness. People to speak about mental health and make it a bigger deal and make sure people understand it is a real thing. And I advise people that anyone dealing with stuff, reach out and talk to someone. People care more than you think. Talk to someone, seek out help, and try to get help. Don't let yourself, I'm telling you from experience, don't let this beat you and get you down. Thank you for your time.